Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're all doing very well. Welcome back to another lunch show where I go through all of the latest Chelsea news and Chelsea transfer news as well. Smash the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. And we're going to get straight into it as well. We're going to be talking about a number of things going around. Some new players as well in the fold of conversation. Rodrygo, the Real Madrid winger, potentially being linked with a move away from the Bernabeu to Stamford Bridge. Seems a bit strange, doesn't it? Why would a player leave Real Madrid? But when a player starts to feel like they're not as important in a project, that is potentially a catalyst for them to move, even if their project or that club in itself is almost the pinnacle. You look at a player like Alvarez, for example, at Man City. Why would you leave a club that have been so successful? They have arguably the best manager in the world. You're playing alongside a lot of the best players. But if you don't feel like you're an important part of that project, that can sometimes be a catalyst as to why players want to leave the clubs. And that's why Alvarez went to Atletico, who's doing very well out there in Spain as well. And potentially, according to some sources, we could be seeing something similar with Rodrygo as well. So let's get into it. Let's see what's happening. Big up to everyone that's in the chat as well. We're going to be breaking these down bit by bit by bit. Let's just I'll go through some of the comments and then we'll get straight on to Rodrygo. Okay. Big up to Gemma. I hope you're doing very well. I'm very well, thank you. Busy. But the good kind of busy. So, I'm always enjoying. Always good to be busy. Big up to Jordan Quinn. Good afternoon to you as well, my friend. Donna, back in the building. Jordan says Rodrygo's on just over 200 grand a week at Real Madrid. That's always information that's good to know, especially with our wage structure. Mr. Alex, I am trying to be here more often. You are getting more handsome as every day is passing by. Donna, listen, you're going to have to turn up on more than one or two streams for me to take that compliment seriously. That you know what speaks louder than words? Actions. What have you done to show your love for me, Donna? Except say that you love me. That's not how it works. This has got to be a two-way street. So, Donna, you're going to have to do a little bit more than that to get anything out of me, I'm afraid. Look, Donna, I'll say this. I would never say this to anyone, but because you work for Tottenham, I'm sure, look, maybe you wouldn't get paid as much as you would if you were at Chelsea. But, Donna, if you do a super chat, then I'll believe that you love me. Until then, it's all a facade as far as I'm concerned. Good afternoon, Matt. Punk runs like a grandma. Okay, good to see you. Up the Chelsea says, why would someone come to us from Madrid? Lol, dream word banter. Well, again, we're going to see what this has been said. This is obviously not me coming out with this stuff. I'm just saying what's come out. Dead in the Water says, no, Donna, please. Yeah, I'm with you there. To do us as longest time, bro. Up the blue. There you go. Nehemiah says, big up. Big up to you as well. We need someone like Victor Osimhen, not Rodrygo. She's actually done it. She's actually done it. Oh, man. She's actually done it. Oh, goodness. Which membership did you get, Donna? Was it the because when I'm on StreamYard, I can't actually see which membership. Oh, she's actually gone and done it. Oh, you're great. Oh, you've got become a Chelsea fan. Oh, brilliant. That is quality. Do you know what, Donny? You've made me laugh there. You have made me laugh. I will give you that. But just to be very clear, Donna, I didn't. You can become a member. I did say super chat. So this is what I'm talking about. If I'm gonna have this kind of relationship with someone, you've got to listen very carefully to what I'm saying. Because I didn't say you had to become a member, although I do appreciate you becoming a member. I do appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Respect to you, Donna, for that. I will give you that. That is certainly a step in the right direction. Yes, you have. You have taken some actions. That is that's very true. Oh goodness. Lavia and Caicedo need to give Liverpool a guard of honor for fuck's sake. I know, man. That's a bummer. Hey, hopefully they give us a guard of honor at some point. That would be good. Israel says, keep up the good work, Alex. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate it. Nad says Champions League spot plus Club World Cup money plus new sponsor plus 7-8 players sold could be worth 300 to 500 million. But that's presuming we do well to get in that Champions League. So that's also presuming that we compete in a way that allows us to take advantage of the opportunity that the Club World Cup can bring us. Without Champions League, do we even accept a new sponsor? Because sponsors aren't willing to pay the same amount of money if we're not in that competition. And then the players that we're selling, are selling them for a loss or a profit? Because I'm thinking of a lot of players that we won't necessarily get our money back for. Can I get a flying kiss? You're going to have to do a little bit better than that, Donna. You're going to have to do a little bit better. And Neil, I totally agree with you. Do you know what? For those of you who haven't watched this channel, Donna has been coming in and out many times for probably the past 6 months. So this is not the first time Donna has done this. If you don't actually know who Donna Cullen actually is, she works for Tottenham. I don't know what she does at Tottenham. She actually works for Tottenham. Not this Donna, obviously, but the real Donna Cullen. So there you go. Yeah, Neil, I'm not here for that. Let's get back to football. Fuck's sake. Swap and Kunku 35 million plus Disasi 35 million for Osman 70 million. Well, you'd have to get Napoli to agree to that. I don't necessarily know if Kunku is the type of player that Antonio Conte will be wanting at Napoli, but they're all good suggestions. I'll give you that. Why is everyone so obsessed with Osman and not Gorkarez? I think that, Osman seems to be more of a presence that Chelsea would appreciate. Gorkarez, you see a lot of his goals on the transition, not necessarily as much of an aerial threat as Victor Osman. So I think in terms of quality of player, they're both obviously top. But when I look at Gorkarez, I look at a player who maybe a little bit better in a different style. Not necessarily Maresca style, whereas you could see Osman fitting in better with the type of football that Chelsea try and play. Nad says swap Enzo for Rodrygo. No. But I see where you're coming from, but I don't think that would happen. Not sure I'd want that to happen either. Enzo's is still a very good player. I know some people don't necessarily like his defensive work, but he does bring a lot to this team. I think most likely we will be giving Liverpool the guard of honor. Yes, I think we will end up doing that. If we don't get Champions League, why would Rodrygo come to Chelsea? He wouldn't want to come to Chelsea. And what wages would we pay him if we managed to get him? We are linked with a lot of wingers. Just make a decision about who you want. That's very true. Thank you again, Donna, for the gifted membership. That's very kind of you. But listen, you're not going to get me this one. Consistency is everything. So, yeah. Thanks anyway, though, Donna. I appreciate it. Do I think Petrovic will stay? Yes, I do. No, that is not worth a flying kiss, Donna. Not yet. Donna, if you give me a super chat of £100, I will do a flying kiss. I'm not fucking doing this. I'm not doing it. So you're going to have to do a lot better than that. There you go, £100 and I'll do it. What the hell is a flying kiss? I don't even want to know what that is. P45 for Donna working with Tottenham football. She's a Chelsea fan. Yeah. Well, that's what I was wondering as well. Don't think I want to know, to be fair. She's also the head of the PR department. Oh, brilliant. Get a job at Chelsea. There's plenty of PR going on. Jackson out. Not sure I agree with that either, mate. Just need a little bit of help. Fofana, I know he's been linked to over the move to Marseille. I said this yesterday, good riddance, to be honest with you. If he does go, good riddance. I don't care if he stays. I don't care if he goes. The guy has no loyalty to this club. He doesn't have a mentality that I'm looking for. To be at Chelsea for such a limited time, and the first chance you have to potentially get a move away to Marseille, you're actually open to that offer, for me, is just disgraceful. The fact that you're even considering that. We spent £80 million on this player. And we know what he does when he wants to move. He'll force his way out like he did at Leicester. And that's not the kind of character that we need within this squad. Big O's ticks every box we need. I'm guessing you talk about Osman there. Fair enough. Anyway, let's get into it, guys. So if we look at the if we look at the article, this has come out via a Spanish source called Sport, and it's Alejandro Alcazar that's written this particular article. There is, unfortunately, not a translated version, but we do have a brief statement from Vince, who has very kindly decided to translate part of the article, a very small excerpt. Rodrygo is becoming irrelevant at Real Madrid and is at risk of the club opening the door for him to leave. So actually, when you read it like that, I mean, the way I originally said it was that he might want to leave because it was a similar situation, let's just say, to Alcaraz at Man City, where it doesn't feel like he's necessarily a key part of the project and he wants to have more regular minutes and be the real center of something important at that club and have some genuine importance rather than just being another pawn in the game. You know, you want to be the man that makes things happen, not just a guy that's there if someone else gets injured, for example. And that's what I originally thought of. But looking at what I'm seeing now, based on this, it says he's becoming irrelevant at Real Madrid and as it is at risk of the club opening the door for him to leave. That says a different story. That says that, you know, when you look at Rodrygo, actually, it's nothing to do with him. It's to do with the club saying, we don't really need you anymore. Like, you're not really an important part of what we're doing. We've got Vinicius, we've got Mbappe, we've got all of these top players. And maybe they've actually stacked a little bit too much. And they want to see something a little bit different. So from that perspective, when I look at a player like Rodrygo, by the way, very, very good player. You have to be a good player to play for Real Madrid and to last at Real Madrid. You also have to be a good player to earn a contract of 200 grand a week. You know, so I'm not opposed to the idea of getting Rodrygo. And when we look at needle movers, that's a word we've heard many, many times. What is a needle mover? A needle mover is someone that, you know, they will make things happen. They will make a huge impact and certainly change the dynamic of the team that you're playing with. I.e., let's just say we look at our wingers, for example, getting 10 GA in the Premier League, roughly speaking. If you can find a winger that will get you 20 GA, that's a needle mover, as opposed to a Jamie Gittins or a Garnacho, someone like that. And I do see a little bit more to work with from a player like Rodrygo in that sense. Yeah, he's a decent player. He's a decent player. If you look at his statistics from last season, he played 52 games for Real Madrid. He got 18 goals. He got 9 assists. Okay, so in total, he had 27 GA in 52 appearances. Obviously, a number of them would have been from the bench, but he did start a large portion of the games for Real Madrid as well. This is a player who, as far as I'm aware, didn't have any injuries last season. Not aware of him being injured this season either, going back to 22-23 as well. Let's have a little look. Yeah, the season prior to that, he got 30 GA. So his numbers actually got slightly worse last year than they were the season before, but he did play slightly less games on top of that. Couple of injuries, but generally a very reliable player. You know, muscle fatigue, left hip flexor problem. That was it. He only missed 4 games because of injuries over the past couple of seasons, based on what I'm reading at the moment. So I can confidently say that Rodrygo is an upgrade based on what we've had in this team, based on what we have in this team. I think that he's a better player. Oh, God. What are these comments? Donna, you need to hold it. You need to calm down. All right? You need to calm down. Fucking hell. What is going on in the chat today? As I was saying, so yeah, when we look at a player like Rodrygo, you know, he's still a very young player. He's 24 years old. But this is a player who's developed at the very elite level. He came to Real Madrid in 2019. So he would have been like 18 years old at that point, and now he's 24. This is a player that will bring a lot to the team. You can't deny that signing is a signing that would make an impact. But then the next question is, how much is a player like Rodrygo worth? What does he actually bring? What would you pay for a player like Rodrygo? And I'm seeing this number in particular, 100 million euros. So I don't know what that is, 80 odd million pounds. I wouldn't pay 100 million euros for Rodrygo. I don't think he's worth that. I think if you're genuinely open to getting rid of the player, you put a realistic price tag on there. And of course, Real Madrid will be looking to make a profit. I mean, his market value is about 100 million euros anyway. But I'm not really sure if I can justify that. 100 mil. I don't know, guys. Am I being a bit silly when I say that? 100 million. It does seem like an awful lot. And then we look at the wage as well. If you're looking to match what he's already on at the moment, then you'd be paying him 200 grand pounds. Probably worth it, to be fair, but are you going to take that 200 grand and are you going to use that to justify not signing Victor Osimhen for 250? Player's clearly worth that money. Jack said he'd rather have Kudos. Fair enough. Kudos would certainly be a more affordable signing. I think you'd get, 60 million would probably get you Kudos, maybe 70. And I would probably rather have Kudos at Chelsea, to be honest with you, than a player like Rodrygo. But again, Rodrygo's a winner. He's been at a winning team. He's got a winning mentality. I think it's very, very difficult to settle into, a team like that if you don't have that mentality. So he clearly has it. He's been in and around the squad. He's been a regular starter as well over the past couple of years. And this season, he has seen a drop-off, guys. You know, there has been a definite drop-off because Mbappe's come in. I mean, there's no other way to describe it other than Mbappe. You know, he's gradually playing less games for Real Madrid. I'm not saying he's going from playing 60 games to 40, but he went from 57 to 53. Now he's on about 50. I don't know if he's going to play any more games. Let me just share this with you just so you can see as well. So this is what we're looking at for this season from Rodrygo. We've got 50 games. Not all of those will be starts. 13 goals, 10 assists, 23 GA in 50. You got about a 50% conversion rate, okay? In a Real Madrid team as well. I think that's also relevant because you have a lot of great players around you to help you score goals. And I don't necessarily think that's the same at Chelsea, where, you know, you won't have overlapping fullbacks. You won't have, you know, you won't have these great players to link up with. I mean, you'll have Palmer. That's true. You'll have Palmer, but I just think it's a little bit different, the way we play and the way Real Madrid play. And that price tag of 100 million, I can't justify that based on what I'm looking at the moment. Now, another thing that's always important to look at is how many minutes he's playing. Is he starting regular? Does he have injuries? He had a small injury for the Liverpool game, muscle injury. And you can see that he is starting the majority of games in the Champions League. He got 1 assist, a couple of goals. His Champions League numbers, I would say, are actually okay. They're not terrible. If you were just spreading out some of the goals of Salzburg and Stade Brestois, then, you know, it's all right. It's not bad. 100 million, though? I'm not sure about that. La Liga, relatively okay start. Got 4 GA within the first 7. And then he had a quiet period, couple of injuries, small injuries, though, hamstring and a muscle problem. Came back into the squad on match week 17 and had a great run, pretty much starting the majority of games as well. Came off the bench against Osasuna. Apart from that, he was starting every game. There's no lack of opportunity for him. But, I mean, these numbers, if you're playing for Real Madrid, again, like, if you're asking me about Jamie Gittins, a player who we've spoken about a number of times on this channel, I can justify paying 35 million for a player who has purple patches. All right, look at that, totally empty from game week 22 up until game week 33. 11 games with nothing, and he started 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those games. 8 out of 11 games he started. 0 GA, came off the bench, 3 times. So this is such an important part of the season for Real Madrid, who are obviously competing for La Liga with Barcelona. And this is a player that ultimately, I think, should be offering more based on what I'm reading here. Now, there's clearly a reason that he's starting a number of games. I'm sure he brings something to the team. And I see this comment as well saying Rodrygo over Gittins. So would you rather pay 35 million or 100 million? And then what's your preference based on where that money could go if you had it spare anyway? So if I'm being totally honest with you, I can't look at Rodrygo and justify 100 million. And then again, I see this comment from Nads. Swap Enzo for Rodrygo. You don't pay that 100 million. Do you know how bad that is from a business perspective from Chelsea's side? We spent over 100 million on Enzo, and you don't want to get any fucking money for the guy. And then you want to get another player with Rodrygo who's not worth 100 million, and you think that's a good deal. It's a poor deal. It's a rubbish deal. You can talk all you want about football, but financially, it's stupid. It's silly. It's fucking crazy. You're charity FC if you do that. Especially because we have the upper hand over Madrid if we want that deal. If they want that deal, so if they want Enzo. They need Enzo. We don't need Rodrygo. We need Osimhen, Dean Huijsen, Mark Gurhey, Petrovic. Those are the players we need. Andre Santos obviously coming in. We'll have great midfield depth next season with Asuga as well, covering Lavia and Caicedo. That would be sensational. That'd be fantastic. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of that deal. If I'm totally honest with you, Hendrick's certainly not going to come to Chelsea. You already chose Madrid. So, yeah, when we talk about Rodrygo, that is a player that, honestly, I'm going to say thumbs down for that one, purely based on price. If the price, I mean, how much did Real Madrid pay for this guy? How much did Madrid pay for him? €45 million. So obviously they're going to want to make a profit out of him. 45 million is a lot of money for a young player, just like we paid close to 50 or whatever it is for Esteval. You've got to be fair with these deals, and you've got to say, well, obviously Madrid are going to look for a profit. I would go up to 70. I wouldn't go any higher than that. 65, 70. We paid 60 million for Pedro Neto. Rodrygo's a better player than Pedro Neto. 65, 70 million euros. Or pounds, to be fair. I could probably... How much is that in euros, though? How much is 70 million quid in euros? 39 million pounds when they sign him from Santos. Rafinha probably is a better player, but he's not going anywhere, guys. Ain't no one paying more than 80 million for Enzo. Well, then don't sell him. What the hell? Why would you sell him? We're under no pressure to sign Enzo Fernandez. I don't want us to sell him. I mean, he had a really poor start to the season, but he's picked it up. So there's there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. It's not a bad thing. Yeah. Now, we've also got to speak about Anselmino. For those of you who know, Anselmino is a Chelsea player. He's returned to Chelsea to train, with the squad, get used to the environment. That was one of the reasons he was brought back early from his initial loan spell. I think it was River Plate in Argentina. And we're preparing him for a loan spell at Strasbourg, which is our sort of sister club, whatever you want to call it. According to Nazar Kinsella of the BBC, he says, as for the summer, those close to Aaron Anselmino expect him to join partner club Strasbourg, but no final decision has been made by Chelsea. Anselmino cost Chelsea, cost us 15.6 million to sign. Oh, so it wasn't River Plate, it was Boca Juniors. My fault. Now, he obviously wasn't absent. He wasn't in the squad for the Everton game when we won 1-0. Sources with knowledge of the situation have elaborated that Chelsea are being cautious over a minor muscle issue, in the knowledge that the Argentinian youngster needs to build up his physicality for the Premier League, for Premier League football. Anselmino, who joined in January, has put on an extra few kilograms of muscle as he looks to adapt to English football. He didn't join in January, did he? Did he join in January? I thought he joined in the summer and then went back on loan. Or January last season. No, I don't know if that's entirely right. Chelsea have always been calm about introducing Anselmino in his first 6 months, especially as he arrived with a significant hamstring problem. They declined a deadline day offer from Marseille after deciding his development is better served training with high-class players and acclimatizing while learning English. Anselmino could still make his debut for the club this season, but has only twice been named on Maresca's bench and has just a single appearance for the under-21 so far, away at Liverpool in February. As for the summer, those close to him expect him to join partner club Strasbourg, but no final decision has been made by Chelsea, and he could yet feature in the Club World Cup in the United States this summer. So there's a little update on Anselmino. And I think, honestly, it's probably the right approach, to be fair. We've got to be cautious with a player who's had a bad hamstring problem, and he needs to build up his physicality for Premier League football. So no disagreements from me there. I don't think there's any massive problems. Yeah, not an issue, to be quite frank. Not an issue as far as I'm concerned. Now, moving on to another update. This is something that is relatively new. I haven't heard about us being linked with this player until today. It's not just us, it's Chelsea and Real Madrid have both recently made informal contact with Benfica to find out about Thomas Araujo's availability. Okay. He's a defender known for his ball playing ability. And this is reported by Court Offside. Now, we've had plenty coming out from Court Offside. So again, take it with a pinch of salt, whether you want to believe it or not. And understand, I did not write these articles. I'm purely reading what I'm seeing. All right. And we can make our own mind up whether we believe it's true or whether it's not true. According to Court Offside sources, Thomas Araujo, the highly rented Portuguese centre-back from Benfica, is one of the names on Chelsea's radar, alongside other top defensive targets such as Dean Huijsen and Mark Guehi. Araujo has emerged as a player of growing interest at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea and Real Madrid have both recently made informal contact with Benfica to find out about the defender's availability. Real Madrid in particular see Araujo as a potential long-term part of their defensive setup as they aim to improve their squad after the disappointing season they're having. However, Benfica have made their stance crystal clear. Araujo is not for sale unless his 80 million release clause is met in full. I just want to highlight that's 80 million euros, not pounds. So 80 million euros. That's what the release clause is. He's 22 years old and he's seen as a central figure in Benfica's future and is under contract until June 2029. Having extended his deal in 2023 following a breakout season. Last summer, both Chelsea and PSG tabled offers in the region of 60 million euros, but Benfica rejected them outright, unwilling to entertain any negotiations below the clause. Chelsea are waiting to see how the situation develops. While 80 million euros may be steep, Chelsea are keeping tabs on Araujo's situation in case Benfica soften their stance or if player circumstances change over the summer. For now, no official bid is expected, but Araujo remains one to watch as Europe's top clubs circle on one of Portugal's brightest young defensive stars. In an interview with Record Nahoro, journalist Rafael Soares discussed Araujo's potential fit in a three central defender system, praising his ball playing abilities and defensive growth. In the case of Thomas Arujo, and I'm very curious to see him. So this is what the journalist said. I'm very curious to see him in a 3 central system, something that doesn't happen at Benfica due to all the quality he has on the ball, in addition to what he's grown defensively as well. So, yeah, look, I'll be honest with you. I think this is, again, another thumbs down. I don't see this as a realistic deal that can happen. I don't think it's got any credibility, to be honest with you. I think it's a load of nonsense. So, yeah, when I look at that particular player, look, he's performing very well at Benfica. He's a good ball-playing defender, but so's Dean Huijsen, so's Mark Guehi. They are better signings for Chelsea. They're more realistic signings for Chelsea. They're cheaper for Chelsea. So every metric that I'm looking at there points Chelsea in the direction not of Arujo from Benfica to the other players. Arujo is rapid like Mudryk. Well, that's pretty good, to be fair. If he's as fast as Mudryk, that's impressive. Let's have a look. Let's see, what else have we said. What happens if this or next season Strasbourg and Chelsea both qualify for the UEFA Champions League? That means that basically Chelsea's owners will have to relinquish control of either Strasbourg or Chelsea. We all know which club that's going to be. So we will see Strasbourg basically not being run by Blueco, and Chelsea will be run by Blueco. We will not be able to loan any players to Strasbourg or do business. United have had a similar situation with Nice because Jim Radcliffe owns Ineos, who obviously own Nice as well as Manchester United. So this is not a brand new scenario, but this is, a disaster for us, if I'm honest. If both teams finish in the same competition, that is a fucking disaster. In terms of developing our youth, Strasbourg is a huge asset. And I'm actually really, really happy with the way that Chelsea are utilising Strasbourg from a Chelsea perspective. And I can appreciate why Strasbourg maybe won't be so happy. But having said that, they've been very, very good while we've had Chelsea involved. So, yeah, for that reason, that's my stance there. Send him on loan to Galatasaray as well. Give them Felix for 40 million. Listen, I've heard the rumors about potentially having João Felix at, in Turkey, in Saudi, MLS, all these guys. Who's actually willing to pay the money? Honestly, I don't think anyone's paying 40 million for this guy, but I think realistically, you probably have to do a loan deal with an option to buy, because nobody's going to put themselves in a position where they have an obligation to buy if the player doesn't perform. And if you look at João Felix's track record, then he has not got a great record of performing since he's left Benfica. Underperformed at Atletico. Look, he was better at Barcelona. Still not good enough for them to want to buy him. Best player in a very, very poor Chelsea side. As soon as he comes into a better outfit, can't even make the team. Don't think we're going to be able to sell him this summer. Think he'll end up going out on loan. Should Guiu go out on loan next season? I think a domestic loan in the Championship or Premier League would be very good. Brathwaite is way better than Mark Guehi. I don't know about that. Also, you've got to remember the system that Brathwaite plays in. It's always been a low block with Everton. So interesting to see if he's able to adapt to our system as well. Guehi would be a preference from my perspective. Jonathan Tarn, free. Why are we not looking at him? That would be a great upgrade and should be on the transfer targets for Chelsea. I totally agree. And my personal opinion with regards to the transfer targets is what Chelsea need to do is sell Tosin for 15 to 20 million. That's a player that you're making profit on straight away. Also, he's on 120 grand a week, so it's quite a big wage for a player who's not that great. Good squad player. I like Tosin, by the way. I am a big fan of Tosin, but I would sell him for 15 to 20 million, and that would allow us to then reinvest in well, we can use the money, whatever, and we can get a player like Jonathan Tah in, probably give him a nice signing on fee, even if it's, let's just say 4 million, 5 million, but he'll fit into our wage structure quite nicely, I think. 29 years old, experience. You get the hype from Tah that you would have had from Tosin anyway. You get more experience, more quality, better attitude as well, winning mentality. Mark Gurhey from Crystal Palace, I reckon you can get that done for about 40 million, 45 million. And then Dean Huijsen's got a £50 million release clause. You've got to remember as well, Chelsea have a sell-on clause for Mark Gurhey, which puts us in a great position because presumably we can just get a discounted rate for him if we were to buy him. But if Crystal Palace were to sell him for another team anyway, we would get a portion of those profits. Girona and City play in the Champions League. That's true, but then City have to relinquish control for a season. And they can't do business together. Look at where Girona are right now. They are struggling. Please explain if we sell 3 or 4 players, why can't we still not sign Osimhen and the wages would be available? No, I totally agree with you, man. I totally agree with you. The wages would be available. You look at our biggest earners and who we're going to try and offload, and then you take the transfer fees and you take the wages and you bring them all together. You have Nkunku, just under 200 grand. Ben Chilwell, 200 grand. Sterling, 325 grand. Fofana, about 200 grand, just under. Those are 2 players there. You're freeing up £40 million of wages a season. And then you also have the transfer fees that you're going to get from that as well, which is what? 40 million for Nkunku. I'd accept that. I'd take 10 for Sterling, 10 million. Get rid at all costs. Say 50 million. Ben Chilwell, I'd take 15. That puts us on to 65 mil. And then for Fofana, I would take 35 million. That puts us just under 100 million. About 100 million, doesn't it? 100 mil. So that's what we can raise just for next season in terms of freeing up wages. So big numbers. So yeah, absolutely no argument why we can't afford the wages. It's not about affording it. It's about whether we want to pay it. That is it. Nehemiah says, Delap not coming to Chelsea anymore, I think. Well, I do have an update based on Liam Delap as well, according to Ben Jacobs. I feel like we already knew this, but anyway, it's come out regardless. Liam Delap's £30 million relegation clause is now active. He's expected to prioritise European football and is likely to wait and see who has what come the end of the season. So from a Delap perspective, he wants Champions League football. Well, he wants European football. So obviously we know that it's between Chelsea, Newcastle and United for his signature. Yeah. I think ultimately, if the thing is that there's different factors to this deal, isn't there? There's the footballing project. You pick Newcastle. There's game time. You pick United. There is money. You probably pick United or Newcastle. So actually, when you sum it up like that, and you've got relationships. Enzo Maresca did manage the lap. That is an area where maybe there's a bit of pull. I don't know. But when you weigh it up like that, if we're just looking at the player side and that's it, then I think that Chelsea will struggle to compete against United and Newcastle. We could beat United to that signing. We could definitely beat United because they don't win the Europa League. They don't finish in Europe. Easy. Chelsea definitely win that battle. Newcastle, though, that is a genuine project that nobody can deny is working very well. Extremely well. They're sitting third in the table, 2 points ahead of Chelsea. They've won a trophy this season. That's all you want, isn't it, as a player, is to win trophies. And, Delap is going to be looking at Chelsea. He's going to be looking at Newcastle. And there's a fair, we're not a million miles apart, generally speaking. I mean, Chelsea are obviously a much bigger club. But, unfortunately, the past doesn't win you all these signings. Otherwise, Nottingham Forest would be competing for this player, but it doesn't work like that. You've got to be in and amongst it every single year to be in the conversation. Looking at the table now, I mean, you would say, oh, well, there's a good chance that Chelsea could still finish in the Champions League. I don't know. I really don't know. City are right up there, Newcastle up there. I mean, we just need to win our next games. Honestly, I'm shitting myself just looking at that table because it is so tight. It's actually like, does it not make you feel a little bit sick when you look at that table, considering the fact that we were talking about a title race in December? Does that not make you feel a little bit sick? I mean, if we beat Liverpool, oh, God. Can you imagine? Oh, God. Oh, man. But, I mean, if we beat Newcastle and we beat Liverpool, then that propels us onto 66 points. And we gain 3 points on Newcastle. So we would be ahead of them in the table. And fingers crossed, City drop points as well. But I just don't see us doing it. I don't see it. I'm trying to fucking find out. God. Oh, my God. I don't see it. I do not see it, guys. Would Delap go to Liverpool? I doubt it. I think Liverpool will be going for Gyökeres alongside Arsenal. If only the sporting directors gave Maresca and the team what they needed in January. You're absolutely right. We did let ourselves massively down in January. That was poor. Very, very poor. 69 points. Yes, I agree. Yes, I do think 69 points would be enough. If 6 of those points were against Nottingham Forest and Newcastle, then I would absolutely be okay with that. If we lost against United and against Liverpool, I still think we get top 5 if we beat Newcastle and Nottingham Forest. Oh, I hope we do it. I really do. I hope we do it. So, yeah, when we look at Liam Delap and where he's going, I mean, ultimately, we're just going to have to wait until the end of the season to see anything concrete come up. Until then, it's just a waiting game, isn't it? It's all ifs, buts, and maybes. I personally wouldn't have a problem with Liam Delap, as I'm sure a number of you have already heard from me. I really wouldn't have an issue with it. But it's each of their own, isn't it? It's each of their own. Also, a little update regarding the stadium as well. Sadiq Khan, who is the mayor of London, has warned Chelsea that their stadium is too small and they must be watching their London rivals with envy. this is an article that's come out by the Daily Mail. And honestly, they're not wrong. Our stadium is too small, smaller than all the big 6 teams and one championship side. We don't know whether to redevelop Stamford Bridge or move to a no site. And yeah, let's see what the article says. It says that Chelsea have been warned that their stadium is too small by Sadiq Khan and that maybe they must be watching their London rivals with envy. But the mayor of London has invited the Premier League giants for talks over potentially opening a new stadium. Chelsea's owners are seemingly divided over whether to redevelop Stamford Bridge or build on a new site at Earls Court, which would require consultation with the mayor's office. The Blues have the 10th biggest capacity in English English club football at 40,343, lower than Championship side Sunderland. And despite the Bridge witnessing many historic nights over the years, its capacity pales in comparison to that of fellow London clubs, West Ham, Tottenham and Arsenal, trailing by around 20,000 seats. My message to Chelsea is come and speak to us in relation to what you want to do. Khan told the Times. Yeah, I mean, he also says Chelsea are the victims of their success and Stamford Bridge is now too small for them. After all, this is a team that has twice won the Champions League. We work closely with all 7 of our Premier League clubs, but I'm sure Chelsea will look with some envy at the stadiums some of their rivals in London have. We're really keen to make sure that Chelsea, as we are with all our clubs, continue to flourish and thrive. So we're open to talking to Chelsea about what plans they have. At the moment, they've not approached us, but we are here. Khan revealed that he wants London to bid for the 2040 Olympic Games. What to do with the stadium is a debate which could splinter Chelsea's ownership. In March, Todd Boehly appeared to advocate for a new multi-purpose and suggested Chelsea's ownership group needed to be aligned on the project. Much has been written on Boehly's relationship with his fellow co-owners Clearlake Capital, led by Begdad Eghbali and Jose Feliciano, including talk of one party potentially buying out the other. Yeah, Earls Court is the one that we've obviously heard about a number of times, and no surprises on the rift in ownership to do with the stadium plans. It's very clear that both parties want different things. When quizzed on their differences by Bloomberg, Todd Boehly said, "We have to think long-term about what we're trying to accomplish. We have a big stadium development opportunity that we have to flesh out. I think what's going to be where we're aligned or where we ultimately decide to go different ways, I think that's what's going to decide, what's been written and talked about is much more drama than what is actually happening." And again, when we look at Boehly, he talks about being at the club, for 20 years. Eghbali, I can guarantee he was not thinking that way. They are private equity. They are looking to buy the asset, build it up in value, and then sell it for a profit. Do not mistake yourself. Private equity might get into different businesses and different companies, but the model is the same. Profit, profit, profit. Make a return for your investors. Todd Boehly is actually a shareholder of Chelsea. Begdad Eghbali and Feliciano are not, because Clearlake are the shareholders. They are a slave to their investors. They do not dictate what happens at this club. Their investors do. And what is any investor's priority? To make a return on your investment, to make money. If you do not make money, then you are not investing. Well, from their perspective, making money is the only option for them. Pressed on his plans for Stamford Bridge, Boehly continued, stadium development is definitely a theme. You're going to see the NBA go to Europe. They need stadiums. They need arenas. sporting infrastructure, we're just on the very front end of the sporting wave, and sporting infrastructure is going to be a big thing about it. We have 16, 20 years to figure out, obviously inside of London, it's really complex. It's not as if we're building something in the middle of a rural environment. We have a lot of constituencies to make sure that we care about. Certainly the Chelsea fan base is one. Long term, we're going to be building something new, and we'll figure it out. Redeveloping the stadium is currently where redeveloping the stadium where it currently would cost to the tune of 2 billion and need them to play elsewhere for 4 years. It has been the home of Chelsea since 1905. Bowley is determined to transform the stadium into a world-class venue, which would mean not retaining any of their current stands. As for the Earls Court site, Chelsea were reported by The Guardian last year to have spoken with the TfL, which is the Transport for London, one of the partners who looks after the site, and real estate developers Delancey. However, the Earls Court Development Committee wants a mixed-use site without a football stadium. Hammersmith and Fulham Council and the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea Council are expected to make a decision this year over the future of the site. So that is what we are hearing with regards to Chelsea stadium development plans. Sadiq Khan obviously encouraging Chelsea to communicate with the mayor's office and try and get something done. We are far, far behind Arsenal, West Ham and Tottenham. There's no doubt about that. We're lingering by about 20,000 seats to all of them. And that is not where Chelsea should be. Now, I'm not sitting here saying I want anything like West Ham, but it'd be nice to give more fans access to games and give more people the opportunity to have season tickets at Chelsea as well, because it's a difficult thing to do, isn't it? And I think ultimately that would be a great thing for Chelsea. That would be a very good thing financially. And that will give us, a more comfortable environment to be able to spend money knowing that our stadium is bringing in more money, and maybe it could make it more affordable for fans as well. Although I doubt that. I highly doubt that. They'll still push the prices up just as much with 60,000 seats as they would with 40,000. Leeds are upgrading theirs to. What are they upgrading theirs to then? They've got about 30,000. How much are they going to extend their stadium by? Why didn't we look for Delap in the January window? Well, the reason that we didn't look at Delap is because Ipswich didn't want to sell, and he's not worth 70 million. So in the grand scheme of things, waiting until the summer to then get him for 30, I would say that's probably the best move. That's a smart move. I think they lease their stadium. If I'm not wrong, they lease their stadium. They've got like a 100 or 200 year lease. Can't say I agree with that, Igor. Not for me, that. Don't care about the stadium at the moment. Just start winning trophies first, so at least we'll have humans to sit on the extra seats. Well, listen, if Tottenham can sell out their stadium and West Ham can, then I think we can. Damn. 53 to 56,000. Are you kidding me? Where did you find that out? That's a lot. Every West Ham home games cost London taxpayers 500k. I don't get it. Doesn't surprise me. Who knows? Listen, plenty of stuff going on at the club, guys. Plenty of stuff. And there'll be more going on this evening as well. I'm going to be jumping on at 10 p.m. for the evening show as well. Guys, we've got over 130 of you in the building. And we are on... Oh, that can't be right. Definitely not 10 likes. 53 likes. 53 likes on the video, guys, and we've got 130 of you in here. Let's get up to 80, okay? And get up to 80 likes. Smash that like button. It helps a lot. Shows that you're enjoying the content. Doesn't cost a penny. And I appreciate it as well. There you go. Listen, guys, I am going to be streaming at 10 p.m. for the evening show as well. That's after the Champions League's tonight, isn't it? Arsenal versus Chelsea. I wish. Arsenal versus PSG, if I'm not wrong. Is that tonight? Champions League is, yes, Arsenal tonight. And then Barcelona versus Inter tomorrow. So, yes, as soon as that game is finished, then I will stream. So if the game goes until 10:30, I will stream at 10:30. If the game goes until 10, then I will stream at 10. So don't think I'm late if I'm streaming later than 10. It's because I know people are going to be watching the game. So I'll start after. I'll watch the game as well, obviously. We're on 67 likes, guys. Run up the likes, get up to 80 likes, and then feel free to round it out there. Big up to everyone. Really appreciate your time. Shout out to Donna as well for the memberships as well. If you want to support the channel in another way, you can become a member of the channel. But guys, we will catch up very, very soon. All the best, and I will see you at 10.